This week on Traffic Thursdays, we're going to be targeting people driving aggressively out here on the roadways while it's raining. We're supposed to have a very wet week because of a tropical wave coming through South Florida. And hang on, does that guy look familiar to you? Hey, Deputy Sloup, is that you?
Hey dude, what's up, man? This video was put out by the Coral Springs Police Department. Coral Springs, located in Southeast Florida. They're awesome. Great agency. They started to do a program called Traffic Thursdays. They got their inspiration from Sam and I doing Fridays with Frank. And so I took actually a vacation. I took my sabbatical. And I had just happened to reach out to Coral Springs and said, hey, I'm going to be coming there. I'd love to do a ride along with Officer Charney. He's a great guy. We text all the time. And they said yes. They hooked it up. So I got to go meet Officer Charney. And we made this video.
What's up, man? You want to come for a ride?
Dude, I'd love to.
What are you doing out here?
Dude, here on vacation, man.
All right, hop in.
Absolutely. Yes. I love that guy.
All right, Frank. Well, thanks for coming to Coral Springs, beautiful South Florida, sunny South Florida, I should say.
Not today.
Yeah, exactly. But we're really happy to have you here, and hopefully we get some good stops in. Even though it's raining, we're going to keep going through it, and there's no time for breaks. There's always people speeding out here, but you know how it is with rain and speed. It's just the two together. It's a recipe for disaster.
Do you get a lot more accidents here when it rains like we do in Arizona?
Oh, yeah.
Same thing.
People, they lose their mind when it rains, essentially. Or people are driving around with bald tires, and they eventually just slide out and crash. And, you know, that's part of the whole enforcement, where we're targeting people speeding and also looking at people's equipment. So if we're at a light, you can see that people have bald tires. We'll stop them for that. Just let them know, hey, you're driving around with bald tires.
Now, is that something you write a ticket for, or do you give them a warning and try to educate them?
All depends. Most of the time, education, but there are tickets out there where I could give them like a fix-it ticket, so they get the ticket as long as they get the equipment violation taken care of. They don't actually get any like points. There's a fine, but it's a reduced fine as long as they fix it within a certain amount of time.
Okay. I was in my rental car, so I was just my rental car. He pulled up. You know, he's like, hey man, you want to do a ride? So it was weird being in the passenger seat of a cop car, not somewhere I'm often found. And but it was neat. It was neat seeing how he did his job. Guy's great, super articulate. He's very young in his career and does a great job, and is definitely ahead of his time as far as years and experience.
Yeah, we got him. Yep, he's going 62, right?
64. Love it. Yes. I wish I drove a Durango.
Please. Is there a reason why I go in 67 and 45? The monsoon that's on the way? And the rain's about to come right now, so I'm about to be poured on, okay? All right, so let me make this really easy for you. I just need your license, registration, insurance, and then I'm going to get my rain jacket, but you got to make it quick. I already have the suds. So I'm already feeling this is not good, okay? Here, while you look for that, I'll be right back, okay? If you find it, please stay seated. All right, perfect. 1 minute, please. You're welcome.
I wouldn't even know where to... Yeah. You look like a pumpkin.
Yeah, I do look like a pumpkin.
This is awesome. So apparently it rains a lot in Southeast Florida. So Officer Charney was ready. He had he's got a actual issued, like, tough, thick raincoat. Being in the rain doesn't affect him at all. It doesn't slow him from doing his job. Totally opposite from me. Like, I have no idea where my raincoat is. It rains, I mean, so infrequently here. I couldn't tell you where my raincoat is. And I guarantee you right now, Officer Charney knows where his is. So it was quite the dichotomy between our two patrol areas that they literally couldn't be more opposite.
All right, so she's going 67 right here. The speed limit's 45. There's a monsoon on the way. Hurricane season just started, so welcome to South Florida. This is the norm over here. And she's trying to beat the weather, so that's why she was speeding on a wet road. And now it's literally at the green light, pouring. Again, welcome to Florida. This is like the norm. So we're going to look at her license, but she's definitely getting a ticket. It's just too dangerous doing something like that. We just came off the Sawgrass, a car just like this, got into an accident, all because someone was speeding. It's terrible, so let's make this quick.
Boring. This.
All right, guys, I'm issuing one citation, okay? You have 3 options. You can pay it, go to traffic school, or traffic court. Whichever option you choose, you have to comply within 30 days. Okay, please slow it down, especially right now. Okay, don't beat the weather. It'll beat you. All right, thank you. All right, as you know, we're a huge fan of Fridays with Frank. We have a lot of fans within the police department and in our city. I'm sure you've seen some of the comments on YouTube and our social media platforms where people are always mentioning us in Pinell County. So,
it definitely happens, man. I've seen in our comments where people have mentioned Traffic Thursdays in ours, and I know that they mentioned Fridays with Frank in yours. So I think we've kind of cross-pollinated where people just enjoy the fact that you and I are out there slinging tickets, holding people responsible, making people safer drivers, educating some, giving tickets to others, and I think it's kind of a thing that we do bi-coastal. I think that's pretty cool. It's a neat thing that people get to come up to us that probably don't have law enforcement contact, that they're law-abiding citizens, they're not out speeding, they're not reckless driving, they're not crashing their car, they're not DUI, but they're out there and they want to have, those positive interactions with us. So when they see us, it's like they don't have to break down a barrier to come and talk to us. Like that, they already know us. Like they already know, hey, Stephanie Charney, Officer Charney, hey, come talk to me.
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on? Hey, Deputy Sloup, what's up?
Yeah, you're spot on because most people actually follow the rules out here. Most people have a good license. They don't drive recklessly. It's just those few people that do that, and then that's the people we're usually making contact with, not the good people that are doing what they're supposed to be doing out here.
Yeah. I talk to people all the time like, yeah, I've never met you on the road, and I'm like, well, that means you're a good driver. And they're like, yeah, I am. And I'm like, that's why, because when you're doing 45 and a 45 and you turn into your appropriate lane and your car isn't a mess of equipment violations, we're not going to stop you. We're looking for people that are really knowingly violating the law and consciously making that decision to drive in a manner that endangers everyone else. And those are the people we want to talk to, but our biggest fans are really the silent people that we don't get to talk to on the
silent majority. Yeah. Correct. Yep. Tango 31 1050 Riverside Shadowwood, and they're moving lanes within the intersection.
Yeah.
And now they're going again.
No turn signal?
No turn signal. We're speeding again. Pull the tag. The rest is obstructed. Stand by one.
And back in the rain.
It's a white Mazda. Unknown time strap. Whoa! Jeez, buddy. That's what you don't do when you get stopped. Slam your brakes
in the rain
as hard as you can in the rain.
Officer Charney lights this car up, and they just lock up their brakes in the rain. Obviously not the most smart thing to do. It happens in Arizona all the time, but it's really dry here. So when they lock up their brakes, I get to lock up my brakes, and the vast majority of the time there's no collision. You do that in the rain, there's a whole different set of circumstances can happen after that. So it was a little bit hairy when we saw that happen, and it's interesting working in his environment, so different than here. It was a lot of fun.
Hello, right here. Hey, Officer Charney, Cold Springs Police. I stopped you because of your speed. I'm good. How are you? Oh, you have a learner's permit.
Yeah, I'm on my way to an interview right here up the street.
That explains it.
All right, so you know the rules of the learner permit, though, right? So why are you driving?
I'll ask my mom, but she can't drive at the moment. She just told me to go up to my interview real quick and return back to
She
the
can't
house.
do that either. Do you have the registration insurance? I stopped you because you're going 55 and a 35, all right? It's also, is that a gun?
That's my mom.
All right, well, stop going through the glove box then.
Good. So dumb.
How old are you?
26.
Okay.
Arizona and Florida are obviously pretty similar in that we have guns that are legal, unlike like California where you can't, or New York where you can't. So that Officer Charney walks up, girl opens up the glove box, there's a handgun in there. Officer Charney didn't freak out. People have done that with me. I don't freak out because we're used to dealing with guns. We're used to seeing them. It's totally legal. There was no violation. Officer Charney didn't even deal with it except to just remove it from the immediate area where the driver was so he can conduct the rest of his traffic stop, and then release the girl with the gun, and away they went. So I appreciated that, and it just showed his level of maturity on the job, where just because you see a gun doesn't mean that you have to overtly overreact and draw your gun and be pointing it at people or start yelling and screaming at people. So his reaction was awesome, and I appreciate it because it's also how we like to do things here.
Do you have? Can your mom send you a picture of the insurance?
Yes.
You said it's your mom's gun,
Yes, my
and you
mom.
didn't know that was in there?
No.
Okay. let me put my handy dandy raincoat on while you work on that. Is your license still current?
Yes.
Okay. Why? So you're going to a job interview right now,
Yes.
and that's why are you running late?
I'm running very late.
Okay, well, you can't be speeding like that, especially when it's raining. Also, when I stopped you, when I got behind you, you slammed your brakes so hard that my car started to skid a little bit. So you got to ease off. If you're getting pulled over by the police, you don't have to slam your brakes. You can just reasonably press your brakes and safely pull over off the side of the road, okay? All right? Can your mom come and get the car? Because if not, you can't be driving this car right now. You have a learner's permit. You're doing it all wrong right now.
I was actually just on my way to an interview.
Do you mind if I grab your gun out and if I can just put it in the back right now? And then when I'll do it. Is that okay?
Go ahead.
Don't grab the gun in front of the cop.
That's all right.
I did not know that.
That's okay. I believe you. You gotta use your turn signal too, okay? I'm not trying to nitpick you. I'm trying to teach you because obviously you don't have a teacher in the car with you right now.
No,
So
I was driving.
Yes.
Fine when I left the house. It's just when I seen that I was running late, I kind of
okay.
didn't realize it.
So let me be your driving instructor for today.
Yeah.
You can't change lanes within the intersection, okay? Which you did.
So Officer Charney makes a traffic stop, and one of the violations is changing lanes within an intersection. So Arizona law doesn't have, that I know of, a specific statute for changing lanes within an intersection. They consider it like any other portion of the roadway, where if you cause a collision within the intersection by changing lanes, it's simply an unsafe lane change. So it falls under that substatute, but there isn't one specifically for being inside an intersection and changing lanes. So when he made that observation and said that to the driver, I was like, oh, I wish I had one of those.
When you change lanes and there's traffic around you, you have to use your turn signal. If there's no traffic around you at all, the state says you don't have to use your turn signal. But because there is, you have to.
Officer Charney's like, hey, if there's no one around, you don't have to use your turn signal. In Arizona, you always have to use your turn signal. Because if I can see you and you don't use your turn signal, that means someone else is around. And that someone else is me. So in Arizona, if you are changing lanes from one lane to another, use your turn signal. It's the easiest way to avoid any sort of discrepancy in the law or commission of a violation that you're unaware of or not knowing of. Just use your turn signal when you're turning lanes. If you do it and it becomes habitual, then you'll always do it and it'll decrease the possibility of getting into a collision.
Also, you got to make sure until you have your regular driver license, you can't be driving solo until you properly learn how to drive. Because right now, someone's supposed to be sitting with you in the car telling you, hey, we're going 20 over the speed limit and it's raining. You should really slow it down right now. This is kind of dangerous. So you got me to teach you right now, though. So please take it seriously.
What is going on?
I don't know, dude. So, all right. She has a learner's permit, which she has to have someone in the car with her that's 21 or older.
Arizona's the same way.
She's
sitting in the seat next to her.
Yeah.
Right.
So she's going to a job interview right now. So she basically said, I just thought I could do that. When she's opening the glove box, because I'm asking for registration insurance, she's showing me the glove box opens. There's a handgun just sitting there, and she looks at me, and I asked her if that's a gun. She said, yeah, it's my mom's. So I took the gun out after she gave me her permission to just retrieve it, and I had unloaded it, put everything in the back so I can still go with the traffic stop safely.
How old is she?
Let me check. She's a youngling. 1997. All right, so she's actually almost my age. She's 26. 25.
What?
Yeah, she's like me. Well, kind of.
Like,
I'm a little older than her.
And you have a license.
And I have a license.
And you know where your guns is.
Exactly.
And you use your turn signal.
And I use my turn signal, and you know.
And you know what registration looks like.
Exactly. This is definitely one of those cases where you would think driving dirty, you don't want to get stopped, so you would do everything right. You wouldn't want to be doing all these things to get you stopped.
He's so right. My cameraman and I have Sam and I have the same exact conversation of if you're driving while your license is suspended, or you have bad tags, or you have a learner's permit, and you know you're doing something wrong, 20 miles an hour over the speed limit, probably not a good idea.
Right.
It
blows my mind every single time. I'm giving you 3 citations. The first one's for speeding, the second one's for careless driving, and the third one is for your learner permit violation.
Careless driving. Love that.
Never got pulled. Don't have a record.
Well, you're acting like I'm the reason why this happened, which I guess is kind of true, but you did this to yourself.
Yeah,
right?
understandable.
All right, so I haven't been disrespectful to you the entire time. Please don't be disrespectful to me. You have 3 options on how to handle that. You can pay it, you can go to traffic school, which is fully online, or traffic court. Whichever option you choose, you have to comply within 30 days or Florida will suspend your learner permit. Okay? How far out is your friend?
She's walking. She's on her way now.
Okay. So I'll follow you into the parking lot to BJ's Wholesale, and that's it. Next time, if you do get caught driving again with a learner permit, it's going to be a tow next time, okay? Me giving you this phone and letting you drive the car off into the parking lot, that's just because I'm being a nice guy right now, okay? Frank, I noticed you're on the SWAT team with your agency, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
So
and I noticed that you're wearing SWAT wings, so we're two traffic guys.
Yeah.
That are both SWAT operators. I think
which is very rare.
Officer Charney wears the same SWAT wings that I do. It's pretty much universal. There's some agencies will have a little different variation, but the majority of the time it's the same symbol. It's an eagle, typically with like an AR-15 and a sword, and they're your SWAT wings. Motors have motor wings. Aviation guys have aviation wings. They're not Navy SEAL. I'm not a Navy SEAL. This isn't a trident that I wear. I know some people have seen, oh, I see your trident, and I see you're a Navy SEAL. I was not a Navy SEAL. I have never been a Navy SEAL. I have never said ever in the world I'm a Navy SEAL. Those guys are pretty badass at a level that far exceeds where I am. So I would never want to take that from them and tarnish it with me. But I do wear SWAT wings, and I've been an operator since 2010, so I've got some years on the team. Officer Charney, although young in his career, is also on his team. We talked a lot about it. Interesting, different tactics and different guns and stuff like that. So it's fun to meet someone that does almost the same exact job as me, both sides of my job, and just meet them on the East Coast.
Apparently, from what I've been told. I don't know if your guys tell you the same thing, but it's
Same
not
thing.
the usual.
Yeah, we're like 1% of traffic cops and SWAT cops that are the same thing. It doesn't happen very often, but it's great because being in our assigned units, and you and I were talking before about how being in traffic gives you some flexibility about where you respond and what calls you go to, but it also allows you to monitor the radio, and if something kicks out that sounds like it's going to be a SWAT related call, that you can get there ahead of everyone else because you're in this position, and I'm the same way.
Right.
I'm always listening for something that could be SWAT related, and it just it lets me get there. If it doesn't turn into a SWAT thing, obviously we have a little bit different set of training, and we can help the patrol guys out. And then if it does turn into a SWAT thing, at least we're there.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's huge because we get all this extra training that most guys don't. And I just feel like not only are we protecting the community by being trained armed professionals, but we're also protecting our brothers and sisters who are also not on the SWAT team, and we're giving them more tactics that they could use so that they're safer anytime we're in a high liability situation. Ambulance behind us.
Yep.
Whoa!
Oh,
Tango 31 1050, 3200 block of State Road 7. Hey, how you doing, Officer Charney, Cold Springs Police? Is there a reason why you didn't stop for that ambulance? It was right behind you with the lights on. You didn't pull over.
I went over to the left.
What took you so long, though? Yeah. You're supposed to yield and pull to the right. Whenever you see an emergency vehicle behind, it took you quite some time. So.
There was something that had fell here, and then I was trying to reach for it, but I didn't really...
Would you drop, like, snacks or something?
Yeah, it was the spray bottle.
Dropping those snackies.
Okay. All right, you got to pay attention, man. Distracted driving is just as dangerous as drunk driving, okay? You have your license on your registration insurance?
I agree with that.
No. So people all the time are like, oh, I want to do a ride along with you. Oh, it'd be so much fun. Well, this ride along was fun because Officer Charney's cameraman had a speaker that was linked to his microphone and the camera's microphone. So I could hear Officer Charney, but when you do a ride along with me, I don't have that equipment. So all you're doing is sitting in my quiet car watching me talk to someone, but you can't hear anything. It's nowhere near the same. So my experience with Officer Charney was better than someone else's experience would be riding with me. Sam used to have the ability to, because obviously he has the other side of my microphone, so he could hear it. But for anyone else that didn't have that, it's just not the same.
Yeah, that's my fault. And then as soon as I got it and I looked up, then I saw it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I don't know if there was a spot on the way to pull over, but...
I mean, you definitely could have, you passed a few turn lanes. You could have stopped then. You got to get you like a snack container that you can hold all your snacks in, or your hair roll, or whatever you got, okay?
This is a great stop. I love when I see a fire truck go by, especially if it's going to a call that I'm not going to, because you get to see these violations. And, firefighters and cops are pretty much brothers. And someone messes with your brother and messes up their day, you kind of want to hold them accountable. And that's what he's doing right now, is that fire truck had to brake because this guy wouldn't get out of his way. So they're on their way to an emergency, running lights and siren. And this guy's snack attack is, he puts that, his own selfish needs in front of the priority of the citizens here. And that's, I love that he made this stop for this.
So he's telling me that the reason why he didn't pull over to the right for the ambulance was because he dropped a bunch of stuff on the floor, and he said there was like a hair roller that he dropped, all this other stuff. He said a drink spilled.
You know who doesn't need a hair roller?
Who's that?
Us.
Yeah, that's right. So, anytime there's an emergency vehicle in Florida, you're supposed to pull off to the right and stop for the emergency vehicle yielding to them. So
Arizona's got the same exact thing.
Yeah, it figures. The one thing that I am citing you for is failing to yield to the emergency vehicle. So you have three options on how to take care of it. You can pay it, you can go to traffic school, which is fully online, or traffic court. It does come with points, so you might want to look at traffic school. All right? Whichever option you choose, though, out of those three, you just have to comply within 30 days. If you don't comply within 30 days, Florida will suspend your license. But please pay attention, okay? Thank you.
So out of all the things that Fridays with Frank has that Coral Springs doesn't, Coral Springs has one of these, and Fridays with Frank doesn't. So Officer Charney this year won an Emmy for his participation in Traffic Thursdays, along with the PIO staff from Coral Springs Police Department and Officer Charney's partner. So they all went to their Emmy award nomination fiesta that they have there on the East Coast, and they won. So he's got one, and congratulations to him, because they earned it. They've developed a really great program, and they work for a great agency, and they've got some great support staff. So they definitely figured out how to do it. This year, on the Rocky Mountain Emmy Awards, Fridays with Frank was nominated for 2 separate Emmys. So we are an Emmy nominated. We didn't get chosen for either of the 2 categories that we were nominated in. So we are 0 for 2 for Fridays with Frank, but we got to go. We got to experience the whole extravaganza, and it was awesome. Made some great contacts, had an absolutely great time, reconnected with some old friends.
Stop. Is this guy gonna stop?
Whoa!
Goodbye, son. Single 211050, University in Atlanta.
Dude, good eye.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, the red light. Is everything okay?
Yeah, everything's fine. I just came from getting the ultrasound.
Okay.
Sorry, sir. This is the registration. This is the first time I ever got pulled over.
Okay. Well, that was a close one, so.
Yeah, I seen it too late. I tried to stop. I didn't want to hit my brakes too hard.
I didn't want to hit the brakes too hard, so I just didn't hit them at all.